to the ashes. The spirits light up the night. Looking down.
Now, from the Untold Radio Network, it's Untold Radio AM with Doug and Alex Hajicek.
Hello.
Hello.
Guess what happened over here?
What? What
We're
happened?
a few minutes late. We had a power outage. Just
Ah,
the briefest, most irritating, down, gone, and then back up. Just enough to have to reset every clock I own. The computer had to reset the whole studio. So anyhow, sorry about that.
sounds like a nightmare.
I think somebody's doing some construction nearby.
Of course.
And they did one of the, where they shoveled into the power line. Probably
Yeah.
lit up like a Christmas tree for a second. Anyhow, God's truth. Anyhow, but I'm back. What do we got going on tonight? I want to thank everybody for showing up. Look like we got a great audience in chat. See a lot of people I know, which is awesome. We're going to have tech breakdown tonight.
Yes, we
Short
are.
and sweet. We have Richard Farabee. I believe that's pronounced
Farabee.
Farabee. All right. And Richard is a Florida-based Bigfoot researcher who apparently has some hair-raising events to tell about.
Oh, yeah. He's
And
seen it
apparently-
all.
And you wrote that he approaches Bigfoot research with a witty approach.
That guy is witty. I'll
He is-
tell you.
Okay.
Well, I'll try to keep up with him tonight.
All right. Well, we'll find out what the heck that means a little later on. Tonight's episode 212. And my ghost my workshop ghost is back.
Oh, no. What
So
happened?
I was there late with Yvette. And there's a, kind of a, what do you call it, a shared restroom hallway. She goes in there and, whatever. And she comes out. She goes like, there's something in there. So I was like, oh, God. So it's, it's late. It's like 1 a.m. So I come out of the thing and I go in there and I'm with her. I don't hear anything. And I'm like, what? It's got to be her imagination. And we wait a little bit. She's like, well, just wait. And I swear to God, it sounded like there was a tiger or a T-Rex, something that big, Alex, breathing
big.
and growling right next to me. Like, I think
Growling.
it's coming through the wall. But then I'm thinking, well, there's nobody here but us. It's a high barbed wire fence, gate and all that stuff. I mean, there's no cars. There's nobody there. And she's like, well, somebody's got to have a tiger or something, or a bear, a grizzly bear or something against, that other wall. And I'm like, it's not happening. But I tell you, eventually we both damn near ran out of there.
You ran.
It
Just
sounded
get
like
away.
there was a full-size T-Rex in that hallway, or in this dark hallway, or on the other, through the other workshop, through the wall.
Yeah, I'm not going in there.
And I'm like, oh, yeah. Like me and Eric were there the other day, me and Jeff, and nothing ever happens. But with Yvette, so I called the manager. Middle of the night, I got the guy up and I go, dude, there's some kind of giant animal or something running around in there. I didn't know what to do. I had to tell him. I mean, when you run, that's not like hearing a little noise.
No.
It's
No.
not like pipes or, it's nothing.
The instincts kick in.
True story. I don't know what the hell it was. But whatever it is, it's gone. The weather's been amazing. I got to go out of town twice this week. 2
How
times.
wonderful. Where do you
Yeah.
get to go?
Wisconsin and then northern Minnesota. It was fun. Did you do anything this week at all?
No.
What? What's that?
Or organize my sock drawer.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fun. Can be really exciting, actually.
It can be.
Did you hear about this latest thing on the James Webb Space Telescope? I'm hearing all these rumors. People are sending me links. Congressional, all sorts of stuff with the government. Did you hear about any of this?
No, there's a video that you sent me.
I put a video there for you, and this guy gives some details, but not all. There was even somebody had posted a video where they asked Alexa about this new finding on the James Webb, and I did it. I tried it, and Alexa's like, "Yeah, there's an armada of UFOs heading towards Earth, like the size of it." And I heard it myself. I just thought, well, that's just BS that Alexa would tell you that. It did.
Whoa.
It was kind of weird. Anyhow, let's go ahead and play the video. And we've got some other news. Go ahead.
Hey guys. Right. So what I said is that I would report on this when there is substantial amount of information to talk more about it. Turns out that the intelligence community isn't very good at keeping secrets anymore, or at least everyone's just had enough of all the secrecy around this and they just want the public to know, because leaks are coming out left, right, and center on this now. Right. This is from a Dr. John Brandenburg. Dear friends, it appears the James Webb Telescope has found strong evidence of life on an exoplanet. Reportedly, this may have led to a classified briefing to Congress. If so, this is a dramatic step towards disclosure. Now, that's not the crazy part. The crazy part is that this same group that have discovered this have also discovered, and I quote, a massive object that is course correcting towards Earth. Can't believe I've just said that out loud, but I'm now starting to see it from credible sources that I've been using for the past 12 months.
Course correcting, Alex. They're coming.
They have a leak. The JWST keeps finding these things, and they keep having these classified briefings. They are finding a lot of stuff with the JWST that they are not disclosing to the public. Now, from what I remember, when you have a project like the JWST and it's publicly funded, if something is found, by law, you have 24 hours to disclose that information by public address, unless it is a direct threat or in breach of national security guidelines. So what I think they keep doing is, because this is happening more and more, by the way, this isn't the first time either. It keeps seeing these things, and then it keeps going into a classified briefing because it is a breach of national security. I think that's their way of controlling the situation, to not let this stuff out. But there is a leak. I got this from Psychoactivo, which is a podcast run by Down to Earth.
I mean, it goes
enough of that
on.
crap.
Yeah, thank you. There's enough of that crap. But check it out. Just look, just go online, look for, new findings, the James Webb Telescope. And the first report I heard is that they saw it make a right angle turn at light speed.
At light speed, right angle turn.
It's bigger. It's the size of a giant city. So anyhow, there you go. Something to think about. Maybe it'll arrive here. Oh, they said I did hear this too. It will arrive here within 3 weeks. Just in time for Halloween, maybe.
Perfect timing.
Who knows? You hear this crap and you just go, yeah, it'd be cool.
Yeah, why
or
not?
It may not be so cool. Be like War of the Worlds, right?
Yeah, but that movie ended okay.
Did it? Did it? I don't think so. It did not. Sure, it ended okay, but the whole world was like wrecked.
Yeah. Just that small
let's
detail.
wait for the agreement. Okay, enough of that. Okay, so another weird thing. Throw up photo 1. Octopuses were recorded hunting with fish and punching the fish that didn't cooperate. So this octopus was bullying fish and hunting with it and for it.
That's brutal.
And then smacking them if they didn't cooperate. Yeah.
I didn't know that like that's something you see in a Pixar movie, not
Well, I've
real life.
always thought, I think most people think octopuses are like an alien, like some kind of alien from another
They
planet.
do look alien.
So octopuses don't always hunt alone, the article says, but their partners aren't who you'd expect. A new study shows that some members of the octopus Cyana Murad around the seafloor in hunting groups, they hunt with fish, which sometimes includes several fish species. This is where it gets really weird. It's like Nemo. Finding Nemo. So this research was published in the journal Nature on Monday. And it even suggests that famously intelligent animals organize the hunting groups, including decisions and what they should prey upon. So they're all like huddling around going, okay, let's go get a clownfish. And they go get one. And then somebody, just like some like mafia leader, he whacks the people that don't, or the fish that don't cooperate.
Yeesh.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
All right. And then why an Alaska island is using peanut butter and black lights to trap a rat that might not exist. So you see those, if you throw up photo 2. See, Alex is supposed to throw up these photos ahead of time. Supposed to. But he's too busy. He's still sorting his sock drawer, I think. You see those tracks? Those are rat tracks.
Those are rat tracks?
Yes.
So
apparently in Juneau, Alaska, on an island of off the windswept tundra of the Bering Sea, hundreds of miles from the mainland Alaska, a resident sitting outside their home saw, well, did they see it? They were pretty sure they saw it, a rat. Not supposed to be rats there. Apparently this is kind of a problem is, ships pull in to bring supplies, they bring rats, but these rats, once they start multiplying, they wreak havoc with all the birds, because a lot of these islands are, they're birding islands where they breed. Right?
They mess with the ecosystem.
Yes, they mess up the ecosystem. So they look for tracks like those, chew marks, droppings, blah, blah, blah. And every time I think of a rat or a mouse, I think of the Snow Grove incident.
Right. That incident.
You have
false
to watch,
alarm.
I think a couple episodes ago to know what that was. Okay.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. So apparently these, rodents, like rats, have been removed successfully from hundreds of islands worldwide, including one in Alaska's Aleutian chain, known as Rat Island. Apparently they got rid of all the rats on Rat Island. According to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, that information comes and it costs millions to do that. So prevention is the best defense.
Right, because getting rid of them once they're already here.
Yeah, it's kind of like I'm not going to say it. Down south, I'm not saying it.
Anyway.
Okay, and then we all know who Lou Alzando is, right?
Yes.
The gentleman that worked for the Pentagon. He was the first true whistleblower that came out. He's got a new book out, Imminent. I love the title, Imminent. That's cool. Don't you agree? That cool title.
Yeah.
And it says Inside the Pentagon's Hunt for UFOs by Lou Elizondo. He's the former head of the Department of Defense Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. That is a mouthful. But anyhow, so when he asked him why he wrote the book, he said, I think Americans can handle the truth, and I think Americans deserve the truth. I think
they do.
That we don't know what's in our skies. So that was his motivation. And he gives kind of an analogy in here, which I really loved, Like, why are we afraid of a race that's so advanced? No way they would ever hurt us. But he gives this example, and I loved it. That's in the book. And then we're going to play a video. He says, let me give you a simple analogy. This is the analogy for UFOs. He goes, I'm sure you all lock your doors at night before you go to bed. And if you have it, you turn your alarm system on. And let's say one morning you wake up, go downstairs, make a cup of coffee, and you suddenly see size 12 muddy boot prints in your living room carpet, right? A little freaky. And those boot prints were not there the day before, the night before. And no one in your house has been hurt. Nothing's been taken. But despite your doors being locked and your alarm being turned on, there are now muddy boot prints in your living room. He said, my question is that a threat?
I'd say, yeah.
And he says, my response is, if it wanted to be, it would be.
Yeah.
If it wanted to be. Yeah.
It could be if it wanted to be. Sure.
And then, okay, so there's also there's some new information. Apparently Lou's been followed home, or what they call hitchhiker effect, from work. So go ahead and play video 2. Sound is good. Turn it up and listen to this. We probably don't have to listen to the whole thing, but go ahead and listen.
You would have these weird glowing balls of light in the house. They were green. They were small. They were diffuse, kind of like a little neon ball, and it really caused some disruption for my kids and my wife.
What were you seeing?
I would routinely see orbs.
What do you mean by orbs?
Small little spherical green, lightish green type of color. And I'd be just walking down the hall and I would just stop and it would just continue to go right through the wall.
So we're talking about the hitchhiker effect. Something had followed Lou home from work.
Or by his very nature, yes.
How did he explain things? Was he able to talk about what was going on?
Not well.
I could imagine you were pretty angry.
I was very upset. The house had been turned upside down.
Freaky.
I'd say.
I don't mind. It's scary enough seeing orbs outside your window. We saw a whole bunch of them. I did not. Everybody at Snow Grove saw them right out the window at Snell, red ones. And I've seen numerous green, these chartreuse, fluorescent green orbs. I've seen them. Your Uncle Joe has seen one. Saw one right by the on 35W, right at the side of the road, hovering. His whole family saw it, right? So they're kind of a deal. You do see them. But to have them in your home and be like, goodbye, for sale sign going up, bing, 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 I'd be out of there. Because if you're not safe in your home, like, right? It's like the hallway, the condo hallway. I don't like that.
Yeah, then what are you gonna say?
T-Rex. Tell you, it gives you it's like, what is that?
Yeah.
What is that?
Oh, thank you.
No, it's definitely a no thank you. But I just thought it was interesting that he was honest about it. And his wife was like swallowing deep there. All right, now here's. Well, go ahead.
You ever see that movie with I think it was called Nope?
Yeah, I did. I'm trying to remember it. I did. What's it? It's about UFOs, isn't it?
It's like the sky aliens, like
I gotta watch it again now. I did see it, but for some reason I'm not like remembering the characters. Nope, it's called.
But that's literally what he says. He looks up and he sees this nasty looking thing.
Nope.
All he's got to say is nope.
All right, now to get us all out of the creepies, a little bit some uplifting news, but it highlights the danger of lightning. We're still going to have plenty of storms in the Midwest. We're not out of the storm. We've got a hurricane heading to Florida, and all that storm's heading north after God knows what it does to Florida. But she was hit by lightning, right? She was a nurse, hit by lightning, in the hospital for more than a year, and just got out. walking again, close to recovered. But it definitely gives you the info that you do not want to be hit by lightning.
No.
I mean, apparently, when you imagine spending a year in the hospital. Oh my God. So her name is, I'll just say her last name. It's Padelia, because I'd butcher it really bad. She's being transferred from Boston Medical Center to Spalding Rehabilitation Hospital, blah, blah, blah. And she was struck by lightning while walking her dog. After more than a year spent in hospital, she's getting back to her normal life, and she feels like she's been born again. So apparently she got struck on a Boston beach, thrown into the air, and then aided by another nurse living nearby, September 9th, 2023. So, and she's been released now on Thursday, September 19th. And let's see here. Apparently she spent several weeks in the edge of her life with spinal cord injuries and all sorts of obviously neurological damage and burns. And yeah, you don't want to get hit by lightning. Don't want it to happen. So there you go. But she's out. Congratulations. I can only imagine. Congratulations to her for returning home. And then, speaking of static electricity, I have a lot of news tonight, don't I?
You do.
Scientists figure out why petting your cat makes electricity, static electricity, right? And this could be important, really. I mean, it is kind of a cool breakthrough. Static electricity can cause, funny mishaps like hair standing on end. Kids go down the playground slide, and you've seen their hair stand up on end, right?
Right,
Alex,
right.
I don't think your hair does without doing that.
Yeah, it's doing it right now.
Yeah, it's doing it right now. So, but there's problems with industry in static electricity people don't think of. It causes electrical fires. It causes explosions if there's a gas leak. It also can hinder dosing, like the correct dosing when they're trying to make pharmaceuticals with powder. Static is a real problem, right?
Yeah.
But they've been trying to study what really causes you to make static electricity when you rub a blanket, right? And so apparently what they found, it's the different, and I'm going to try to explain this in a third grade level. It's the different heights of the fabric or the hair is what causes it to charge like a battery. It's the different ends, the different heights, different end deformations. So therefore the different charges that happen, the pluses and the minuses. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. Of course, we think about lightning, which is the same damn thing, which is all these particles of different sizes rubbing against each other in the air, the molecules, the rain, possibly hail, all the everything up there. There's bacteria up there. It all causes static rubbing together. But the cool thing about lightning, the good side of lightning, is it drops like millions of pounds of nitrogen from nitric acid. Fertilizes all of our trees, our plants, our flowers naturally, So
I didn't know it was that beneficial. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it drops 1.8 billion pounds of nitrogen on our soils.
Billion with a B.
Tons. 1.8 billion tons.
Jeez.
So that's a lot of tonnage.
Yes, sir.
Yep. All right. So there you go. And then speaking of cats, there was a kind of an intro. We've all heard stories of kitties, dogs getting lost, and then you got to go home or you move, can't find your dog or your cat, and the cat somehow finds its way home. Well, this cat was lost in Yellowstone. The people came from vacation, drove from California and Yellowstone, and their cat got away. Got scared and got away into the woods, and they ended up getting the cat back. So the cat started heading towards California and made it 900 miles, and probably would have made it all the way home, but it was picked up by somebody who then read the chip, some vet who then read the chip and then got a hold of them. But the cat was only like 100 miles from home when they found it. So it was heading the right direction.
Why is that cat Sam Elliott?
What?
Look at that mustache.
Oh, yeah, it's a Sam Elliott cat. Yeah, I didn't notice that. That's a stunt double cat. That's not the real cat. The real cat's name was Rainbow, guys. That's not the real cat. That's a stunt double.
Sam Elliott would not be named Rainbow Cat.
No. So I don't want to get into all the, but it kind of a weird coincidence happened. It says here, apparently they were entering the Nevada desert, and she sees a double rainbow. She took a picture of it, and she thought, well, that's a sign, because the cat's name was Rainbow, right?
Right.
So that's kind of the interesting twist on it. So anyhow, the cat came home.
I like the twist.
That's it. Who would ever thought you'd ever get a cat home? So don't leave your cat in Yellowstone. The long walk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You think a coyote or something would have got it, or a grizzly?
Right.
There's a lot of animals in Yellowstone. All right, and then we'll do. I see we have a Richard in the back room, don't we?
Yeah. Hi, Richard.
You hear me, Richard? Wave. Yeah. We got you. We're gonna go through some clips. We don't have any trivia tonight. We're just gonna do some really cool clips. By the way, there was something I just heard before I came on the air, and that is they just released the footage of the UFO that crashed in Alaska.
They released the footage.
It got leaked out. It's really cool footage too, and I definitely recommend you look for it when the show's over.
So how would they find it? Alaska?
Well, don't you remember when all the balloons were getting shot down,
Right,
all this stuff?
Right.
All the weird, that was just a weird, like, what, a month? It was in the news constantly. Something, they kept calling them UFOs, shooting them down. And I've always been under the impression they're shooting down UFOs all the time, right?
Right,
I think a lot of them are unmanned, and I think they're always shooting them down.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it was that 1 month they were actually admitting it. And one of them was in Alaska. And they had the military up there forever looking for this thing. If it was just a balloon, I don't think they would have had 2, 3, 4 month operation looking. All these troops looking for this thing. But anyhow, someone released footage. Looks legit.
Very cool. I'll have to look at that.
Yeah, check it out. Okay, clips.
Wait. I want to play that bumper.
You can play the bumper. I'll let you.
All right. So here we go, guys.
Fun bumper. See? Oh, yeah, just go ahead and play the clip before you.
Hold on. Let's introduce it.
God, nice way to go, Alex. Okay, so the sound is good. You got to play the sound. So can you imagine you open your garage, you just walk into your open garage and this thing comes charging out at you, right? Go ahead and play it now, Alex. Thank you. There was a little hip action there. I don't know what that hip action was for. Watch the guy. Good one. But watch that other clip. Start it over because he gives us some kind of hip action there. I'm going to remember that move. No, start at the beginning. What? No, watch his hip. There it is. Like hips. He hip checks it.
Yeah, he's gonna hip check. That's what I do when I get attacked by thugs. I just clap at them.
Yeah. But the guy's pretty brave, actually.
He is. I would have panicked. I would have just chased him.
He did the right thing. He didn't overreact.
Right. That's the key.
He clapped and a little thing. Okay, clip 2. Sound is good. And Alex, just wait till I introduce it.
I'm just so excited. I want to play
Hold your
them.
donuts. Hold your donuts.
All right.
Music just isn't for people, apparently. And we've all heard, parakeets singing and all that crap. But this bird is mimicking an instrument, right? And I just thought it was cool. And obviously, if a bird can mimic stuff, why couldn't a Bigfoot? Go ahead and play clip 2.
Yeah.
You like?
I like it. I like it.
Clip 3 sound is not good. But each week, I'm going to pick one Halloween costume, right, that I think is kind of fun. And I'll put it up and I'll mix it. I'm not going to do a whole section on it. I'll mix it up in the clips. Maybe we'll do one on Halloween. We'll get a big compilation of a whole bunch of cool Halloween costumes that I think are original. But here, go ahead and just play it. I thought was so damn cute. It's amazing. The illusion's amazing. Isn't that awesome? I love the pacifier.
It really sells it.
That really does. God, that was so. I thought that was adorable. Okay. I don't like scary Halloween costumes.
No, me either.
Clip 4, no sound. This beast.
So clip 4 was missing in action.
All right.
So
That wasn't
clip
that
5.
great. It was a moose attacking and fighting a statue of an elk.
Oh man, wish we
Clip
had it.
6, sound is good. It snowed in South Africa. Did you know that? Where it
No,
never, ever, ever snows.
never.
So it's global warming at work. The lions are covered with snow. And this guy's just go ahead and play it.
He's hanging out.
He's got more guts than me.
He's just standing there.
He's just standing there. I don't think I would.
Hi, Mike.
This is high. How's it going?
Hey, bad weather.
Nice weather. Oh,
That's pretty. The lion in the snow.
so weird.
Someday I'll have to tell you about my interaction with 2 snow leopards in the winter.
Yes.
In the snow. All right. Clip 7. This next story is complete bullcrap. Really. Go ahead and play it. Sounds good.
Oh no. Oh.
In a rodeo out east, and these bulls planned a master escape because, man, they're sticking together.
Right on the
Isn't that crazy? And it took them a long time to get these bulls back safe, and they ran all over the city in groups. In a group.
Crystal.
Can you imagine you're at Walmart, and here comes a whole herd of bulls charging. Look at these cops. Normally, bulls won't run through a fence, so I just thought these guys were planning this thing, man.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so that was bullcrap. Clip 8 sounds good. I snuck in a few dad jokes I had to. I snuck them in because dad jokes just don't work, and I know you don't like them because they don't work, but go ahead and play it. Go ahead and play it.
I got a lot of jokes about retired people. None of them work. My therapist tells me I have a hard time expressing my emotions. Can't say I'm surprised. Guys, so what if I don't know what Armageddon means? It's not the end of the world.
Ooh.
That last one was a stinger, wasn't it?
Yeah.
If you don't know what Armageddon means, it's not the end of the world. Okay, yeah. Dun, dun, ching. All right, clip where am I? Clip 9, sound is good. And I want one of these for Christmas, Alex, please.
Oh, yes.
Go ahead.
Get it ordered on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, they sell them on Amazon.
battery life on those rotors?
14 minutes.
Yeah, 14 minutes. Just enough time for you to get in the sky.
Probably is a problem, I would imagine. They're going to need to get batteries lighter and better.
Doesn't look very stable.
But I think these drones are going to become a reality.
Yeah.
For individuals, so you can pick: do I want a car, or do I buy that new drone?
And that is loud, though.
Yeah, that's cool, though. All right, clip 10. Sound is good now. I don't know why this water is reacting to this guy strumming his guitar. I have no idea. It could be bugs, could be little fish, could be minnows, could be just the water. Go ahead and play this. It's pretty cool.
That's cool.
What do you think? What's your guess?
It's got to be little buggies.
Bugs? Okay, it's bugs.
Little buggies.
That's a good enough answer. All right, bonus clip. No sound. This clip will get you to stiffen up for sure. Made me feel stiff. Of course, at my age, I always feel stiff. Go ahead.
That's me in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty convincing.
I like that one. The guy just keeps falling. All right, that's it. Enough of that crap. Tech breakdown will be really quick. Sorry, Richard will be with you in 1 second. Hey, maybe we should bring Richard on for this. Let's do that.
That'd be cool.
All right, so just hang on. Let me introduce him. Then we're going to go right to tech breakdown with Richard. I don't even know Richard. Richard probably knows more about this crap than I do.
He probably does.
So we can get his opinion. Because, he's witty, right? Richard, you better be witty when you come on.
No pressure.
He's being witty in the backstage. I can see him.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So I want to talk about night vision goggles. Go ahead and throw up my... Oh, that's right. No.
You got to introduce him.
I forgot what I was going to do. I'm going to introduce Richard first. All right. Richard Farabee. He's a Florida-based Bigfoot researcher known for his witty approach to the subject. I don't know what that means. In the field, he's active in the field, and Farabee he's had many guest appearances on shows to discuss his investigations. All right, as he's going to do tonight. And I don't know if is he into other cryptids, Alex, besides Bigfoot or just Bigfoot?
I don't know.
You don't know. See? Alex always does a really good job pre-interviewing our guests. But apparently he collaborates with other researchers in the Bigfoot community. Yes. Farabee continues to contribute to the ongoing search for evidence of Bigfoot's existence, bringing a blend of dedication and humor to his work. So let's bring Richard on.
All right, we'll be right back, guys.
So I have my new co-host, Richard Farabee, who's going to help me do tech breakdown on night scopes, and he has no idea what he's gotten himself into, does he? Hi, Richard.
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you great.
That's our first show.
Do you own a pair of night vision binoculars?
I have everything. I have night vision, thermal. I have a little bit of everything.
Everything.
Yep.
Do you own any mouse traps by any chance?
No, we don't have mice here.
Oh, okay. Just checking. Okay,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
well, I want to talk about affordable night vision binoculars, and these are
Right up my
basically very much improved color infrared. Color infrared's kind of a thing now. And this is a brand by Wasoka. It's only got 5x zoom, but that's usually enough digital zoom. But what I like about it's got backlit keys for somebody like me to use that, where you're trying to do, research from far away. And I would only use these if I'm like trying to scope a power line cut or something, in the distance. I'm probably not going to use this up close. Do you use a infrared night vision scope, or is yours the old light ample, the green phosphorescent screen?
I actually just purchased something new. I haven't actually even taken it out in the field and really used it. I don't know if you can see this. This
Hey, that's the same one.
yeah, I got this. This is the Akaso Seymour 200. It was a startup about 6 months ago, and I got in like right when it started.
So
And-
was it a GoFundMe kind of thing?
Correct. And
wow.
they reached their goal really fast. I think they were looking at wanting, I want to say it was like $500,000, and they made well over $750,000.
Wow.
So
Wow.
the great thing about this thing is it shoots in daylight color. I mean, it could be midnight and it looks like 12 in the afternoon. It uses AI technology.
Yeah.
And it has, so if you have low light or nothing and you want to go to regular night vision that we're all used to, it has 7 settings just in that spectrum. So I think it's
the one I'm touting only has 3.
Yeah, this has 7.
7.
And what did you pay for it, if you don't mind us?
No, I don't mind telling anybody, because I got in at the ground floor and I got I got a lot with it. I got the camera itself, which does record sound, video, and pictures. I got the battery charger with 2 batteries. The great thing about a battery is they take 4 hours apiece.
Okay.
That's unheard of in night vision. Usually it's just a couple hours.
This one goes 22 hours.
So I paid $208 for everything.
Okay. Oh, good. All right. So let's talk about this one. That sounds good. It sounds very similar, actually. This records color IR. You can record stuff, and it's got enough filters. You can record in the day. It's got a built-in flashlight, backlit keys. Comes with a a smaller 64 gig memory card, but records in total darkness, records audio, video, and it's got like 3 levels of lightness, I guess. So you don't want to blow out your image. This one records up to 2,000 feet away, which is pretty far. And that's really all I can tell you about it. I've seen it. I've put it in my hand. It's really nice. I've tried it. It works good. And this one is about $170 all in. And I'll bet you those other ones might still be available from the GoFundMe or whatever, wherever you got them. And maybe you can send Alex a link of where you got it so people can choose. But don't you agree that this technology is getting better and better, this low light?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
if the main point I wanted to get across tonight, if you haven't explored it lately, you haven't looked at it at all, because it's changed. They're building these amazing ISO, very, very fast ISO chips, to where they're getting them to like 500,000 ISO, and they're putting them in this kind of technology, these chips. And so they're really amazing. So you can actually see color at night. Like, it's crazy. And you haven't even used it, but I have a feeling it's going to be your favorite toy.
Well, I mean, I played with it. I did like a short for my YouTube channel, like a maybe it was a 5-minute video off my back porch, just playing with it. Hadn't fine-tuned it yet or anything like that. But I do have a camp out on the 16th of October. I will be in the woods for 5 days.
Wow.
And I will be using this every night.
Very cool. Very cool. The only thing I'm going to say on this, on a parting shot, the battery is supposed to last over 20 hours on this one. It's got a 10,000 milliamp battery, and you can put up to a 512 gigabyte card in it. It's got a 4-inch screen, 3.99 inches, and you can get it from Amazon. I guess if you don't like it, you can return it, right? So there you go. What do you got to lose? All right, that's it. We're going to go back to Richard now. Get rid of that, Alex. Thank you. Oh, by the way, did you get the word of the week, Alex, before we get into the interview?
Oh man, I could grab it in a second.
No, that's fine. You don't need to. We'll do it next week.
Okay, perfect.
All right. So I've heard through the grapevine that you have had some pretty crazy Bigfoot experiences.
Yeah, I've had 3 that I consider significant, but it goes all the way back to 2005. But I've had 3 of them that, have definitely scared me or, put me in that fear mode and that excitement, that anxiety that, okay, there's something here and I'm about to find out what it is.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and jump right in there. Let's maybe you can tell about one of your encounters, and then we'll kind of gonna go from branch off from there.
I mean, my first encounter was in 2005, which to this day is the one that still brings back anxiety and fear and different things like that. But I'll start with the most recent ones first, because that's where I'm going to next month. I'm going exactly into that same area that I had 2 separate encounters in a matter of just 3. One was in December, and then the second time was in February. So I'll probably start with those 2 instead of going all the way back to 2005, because it's going to be new. The big thing for me is I have a lot of free time other than work. I don't have a lot of things holding me down, keeping me pinned down. So I'm capable of going out and being in the field a lot.
Cool.
I'm out there. I'm in the field every weekend. And when I tell people that, I'll say, well, I do about 250 hours a year in the woods. And they go, oh, wow, it's a lot. In my mind, it's not, because there's 8,000 hours in a year. So 250 doesn't seem like a whole lot. But it's every weekend, anywhere from 3 hours to 5 hours, on a good day with the weather and stuff like that. And then I do, 3, sometimes 4 campouts throughout the year where I'm out there. And, most of the time I'm out there by myself for the most part. And that's why I'm going back to this location, going back to my free time. So I plan things on holidays. That's when I like to get out there, because a lot of people are not in the woods. They're, like Christmas, for example, they're at home, they're visiting grandma, they're doing these things. So I can get out there and really.
Hey, Richard, sorry if you already mentioned this, but are you going out solo, or are you going with?
Yeah, you said solo.
No, I'm going
solo.
by myself. Yeah.
Really? Do you ever feel, you ever feel in danger? Like,
every time.
Alex,
that
wasn't the brightest question I don't think you ever asked, Alex.
No, it's a great question. It's really funny because I'm one of these guys that I will tell you exactly how I'm feeling.
That's
you know what I mean? I tell
like
people all the time on my channel, hey, if I slip and fall in this mud, I'm not cutting it out of the film. You know what I mean? It is what it is. And there's a lot of times I'll be filming and I'll be like, okay, guys, I got the EBGBs right now. You know what I mean? And there was a time I was filming. I was on the back of my truck. I'm talking to the camera, and all of a sudden you hear this, pow! And I jump, and it was a squirrel that had jumped off a tree and hit a palmetto branch and couldn't grasp it and slid off. So when he hit it, it was this loud pop and he fell to the ground. Everybody saw it. Now I looked at him, I go, yep, I got spooked. You know, it is what it is. I own it. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, tell us. Okay. So tell us your encounter now.
So I plan things on the holidays, and a couple Christmases ago, I decided to go out to this one location. I did some research, Bigfoot mapping project, which is a great app. You can see a lot of stuff on there on recent activity and stuff. So there were some sightings out there, some a few years ago and stuff like that. So I wanted to try, this particular area. And it's a huge state park, but it butts up to the area that I research on a regular basis. The only thing that separates the 3,000 acres that I'm researching in this state park is a dirt road and a barbed wire fence. That's the only thing separating the two. So in my mind, that's an easy obstacle for this creature. Not a problem. It's barbed wire fence, easy peasy, So I decided to go into the state park and camp in this one area. So I get there and it's very memorable. And because the temperature, I'm in South Florida. That weekend, it was dropping to 29 degrees in South Florida. Now, granted, it doesn't stay 29 degrees, but it was going to drop to that temperature. So I knew ain't nobody going to be out there because Floridians, we just don't do cold weather. It's Christmas weekend, so everybody's with their family and stuff like that. So I get out there and I get all set up and everything, and I go for a hike, and it's quiet, it's beautiful, and I'm bundled up, and I go for this hike, and it's a pretty large trail, pretty desolate, but pretty large. And I've been hiking, I don't know, 30 minutes, maybe. It's been a couple of years, but I want to say 30, 40 minutes. And I get to this location where there was gravel areas on the right and on the left, these big circle areas that filled full of water. So I'm looking around there because there's water in it and it'd be a good water source for an animal and anything like that. So I'm looking for any kind of animal prints, raccoon, deer, whatever. So I'm sitting there and I go, you know what? I'm going to make a call. And I don't do that. I don't do calls and I don't do wood knocks. You know what I mean? But there was nobody out there and I'm like, what the heck, And so I do these, what I like to do is a gorilla sounding grunts is what I like to do. Okay. So I do these calls, and then I stand there and I just wait a few minutes just to see if I get a response, So I wait maybe 5 or so minutes, nothing.
Could you do that call?
Please.
All right, man. If I get locked up, I'm trying to convince all my friends that I'm not in great.
If you get locked up, we'll cover it on the show.
Oh, we want to. I'm serious. I want to hear it because
we do.
This call, obviously, he's going to tell us how it worked. So
it ain't nothing special.
Well, let's do what you did.
At 55 years old, the lungs ain't what they used to be. So basically, I do these grunts, and it's only because me and my teammates, we have ran into this exact sound. So that's why I was like, man, I'm going to use this sound. So here, you ready? That's about it. So I make this call. I'm sitting there 5 minutes, maybe a little longer. I don't know. I get nothing. No response, no nothing. So I start walking again. And I walk for maybe another half an hour. And it was pretty early in the morning. I want to say this is around 7 a.m. because I got there the night before, camped out, and then I get up that morning, So I get a little bit hungry. Got to have the breakfast of champions when you're camping, which is hot dogs and root beer. So I start heading back, and I get back to that spot where the two spots were. I mean, they're only about the size of a queen size bed on each side. They're not large. So I get right back to that spot. It's very recognizable. And right in the middle of the trail is a palmetto frond that was ripped out of the ground and was just laying there in the middle of the trail. And it's green, it's fresh, it's new, except the bottom looks like it exploded, like somebody just ripped it. Now, I don't know how many people are, watching this that are from Florida or been here and everything. A palmetto frond is almost impossible to rip out.
Yep. And they're sharp.
Yeah. And I'm not a big man. I'm 5'10", 210 pounds. And I can grab hold of this and lean back with all my weight, and I'm not going to pull this thing out of the ground. So whatever pulled this out had some strength, and it was laying right in the middle of the path. I would have never missed that coming when I went through there the first time. I mean, it was clear as day when I saw it. So I documented it, took some photos, stuff like that. It's somewhere on one of the videos from a couple years ago, and thought it was interesting. And so I head back to the camp. I get to the camp. I make my breakfast of champions and stuff like that. I start, just relaxing, going through equipment and everything. Rest of the day, I go for a hike, a very, very long hike. And the only thing I found was, I'm not a poo-poo expert, but it looked like bear scat to me, because there's no horses or cows, and it looked like a pretty good patty there, scratch and sniff. It seemed bear to me, huh?
Moist.
Yeah, I mean, I stuck my finger right down in the middle of it, Alex, and it was pretty moist.
Just ignore me.
So
sorry, continue.
I took photographs of that too, just in case, So I get back to camp, and it's getting a little late, and the temperatures are starting to drop now. The sun's gone down, the temperature's starting to drop. So I make a really good fire, and I just chill out at the campsite for the rest of the night. I don't keep track of the time when I'm camping. I like to be void of anything. I'm into the moment. What's going on right now? So I don't look at a watch. I don't look at my phone. I'm just in the moment. See what I'm
you're
saying?
very present.
So I estimate the time. What's that, Alex?
So you're very present.
Yeah, I'm in the woods. I try to put myself in the frame of mind that I'm an explorer, from 100 years ago, and I'm here by myself, and I'm exploring, and I want to put myself in a certain mind frame. So, I eat my second breakfast of champions, which is the same as the first breakfast of champions. So I eat and decide to go to bed. So, I'm laying there, and I estimate time just by feel, and I want to say it was around 10 or 11 o'clock at night. It was very dark. And it just seemed, late, but not overly late. And I was laying there, and I heard this scream, just this. To this day, I couldn't even reenact it for you. It was just the weirdest scream. I just never heard this before.
Well, can you give us an analogy of maybe what it sounded like, Richard?
Anything from a movie?
Was it like a female screaming or a big T-Rex?
It was definitely animal. It wasn't a human. It wasn't like a girl screaming or something like that. It was just like a.
Was it dual tonal?
No, it was high pitched and drawn out, but it had like a wave to it. Like I couldn't reenact it because it was wavy. It was. The sound fluctuated. It's kind of hard to explain, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Kind of like a singer, opera singer, how they can make that voice fluctuate. It was like that, but it's very, very loud. And so immediately,
well, just hang on. So this is important. Was it kind of I think they used to call it vibrato? Where it's like the old singers from the 30s and 20s and teens sang with this. They trained their voice to kind of in and out. Was it quick like that, or was it a slower up and down?
It was kind of fast, but it was the weirdest thing I'd ever heard.
Okay,
and it really
that's interesting. Okay.
Like it just it kind of bounced back and forth, and it was real loud.
All right.
Have you heard the Sierra sounds?
Yeah,
like that?
Yeah, nothing. It didn't resemble anything in there.
Okay.
No.
Gotcha.
No. I got the CD of
like
the Sierra.
Bee Gees. Yeah.
Yeah, singing tragedy. I don't know if anybody got that, but yeah. So anyhow, it woke me up. I mean, I wasn't dead asleep, but it definitely alerted me. So I grabbed my recorder. I turned the recorder on in hopes that it would do it again. It doesn't. I sit there for a half an hour. I don't hear it again. It happened one time. It was quick. It was loud. Didn't happen again. So I ended up, and I know more now than I knew then. I was in a habit of shutting equipment off until I needed it to save battery life and stuff like that. A lot of the stuff I have now is rechargeable, where back then it was all battery powered. So I'd have to shut things off just to reserve the batteries, because batteries get expensive. So I sat there for a while. I ended up shutting the equipment off and going back to bed. So now let me describe my tent. My tent is a tent at that time. I have a new one now. Was 5.5 feet tall. It's a dome tent, and it's 360 degrees screen. So if I sit up, I can see everything around me. It's only solid from the floor to about, 18 inches up, and that's it.
Gotcha.
So I bought the tent specifically because I wanted to be able to see all the way around me. But because the temperatures were so cold, I put the fly on the tent to keep the air out. Okay. So I can't see out at all, other than, if I open a window or something like that now, because the doors are the only ones that had the zip windows. So so I'm there, I'm in my sleeping bag, and I'm down to my skivvies, and because in cold weather, that's what you do. And I fall asleep. I want to estimate it was probably around 2 or 3. I felt like I had slept solid for a couple of hours at least. And I woke up to the sound, because I'm a very light sleeper, of something rubbing the roof of my tent. Okay. So I wake up, and it took me a moment to realize what was going on. And I wake up and I'm looking, and something is moving from the end of my tent where my feet are to around the tent to where my head is, and then back to my feet. And the whole time, it's like it's rubbing the tent the whole way. And I'm pretty sure you guys have camped quite a lot. And a tent makes a very distinct sound when you rub it. It's a very distinct sound. And I'm hearing this. So anxiety kicks in, get a little nervous. I'm like, oh crap. It's amazing how a tent makes you feel safe, I tell you. So I'm slowly, I start to peel out of my sleeping bag, and I'm going to find out what this is. Okay. So I've got my camera in one hand, flashlight in another hand. And at the same time, I'm trying to find the zipper. Now, I haven't turned on a light inside the tent because I don't want to give up what I'm doing. So I'm fiddling around and stuff. So I get my hand on the zipper, and I'm ready to start unzipping to go out. And all of a sudden, I hear my cooler, and it's being walked away. I can hear everything in the cooler shifting left. Like if you're walking with it, I'm hearing everything shifting inside the cooler. And that's what really, for some reason, that's what freaked me out the most, because I'm like, holy crap, that's all I have. You know what I mean? If I lose my food, then my trip's kind of done. You know what I mean? And so at that point, I freak out, and I zip, as quickly as I can. I unzip, and I push myself through the tent. I get out, and there's nothing there. I got the flashlight on. I got a pretty powerful flashlight. I mean, I can light up the moon. And I'm flashing around, and I see the cooler is about 20 feet away. Okay. And it's laying on its side. I had that cooler at the door of the tent. So if I wanted something, I can unzip a little bit, reach over, lift the lid, and get something if I wanted something out of the cooler. It wasn't a big cooler. It had a 10-pound bag of ice. It had a 6-pack of root beer. It had the large package of hot dogs, buns, mustard, mayonnaise, ketchup, stuff like that.
Hey, folks, don't ever do what Richard does.
So, hot dogs go a long way.
Just don't take any advice from Richard. Okay, keep going, Richard.
So now the cooler is about 20 feet away, and I've already eliminated raccoons or anything like that. It's just too heavy for them to pick up. So I'm walking around. Remember, I'm in my skivvies, so thank God there's nobody else out there because I would have been a sight to see. And I'm walking around the tent. I'm shining in the woods. I'm everywhere. And like I said, by the time I got out of the tent, whatever it was gone. And I never heard it break brush or nothing. So then the second thing pops in my mind because it brought back a memory, you know, somebody saying, these things climb trees. So now I'm looking at the trees. I got my light and I'm looking everywhere like, holy crap. I just imagine looking up and this thing's up there like, raw, and drops down on me. But I didn't see anything in the trees, anything anywhere. I go pick up the cooler. I tried to flashlight to see if I saw any prints or anything, but it was pretty dark. And I was in a pretty tough substrate, a lot of leaf litter, which is very difficult to find prints. And I'm not a master tracker by any sense of the word. So I take the cooler and I decide to put it in the truck. So I put it in the floorboard of the truck, shut and lock the truck so I don't have to deal with that issue again. I go back into the tent. I get back under the covers, and I basically sat there for the next probably hour and a half, you know, just contemplating what just took place and everything.
Yeah, I wonder why. Why would you sit there and wonder what just happened? I'd be so freaked out. I'd be in the truck.
Well,
I'd be gone already.
The thought of sleeping in the cab of my truck crossed my mind. I'm telling you, it did. But it's 29 degrees out. And I wanted to be under the blankets, you know? So, you know, the next morning I get up, I get dressed, I go out there, and I'm looking around, kind of re-canvassing what I did the night before. Again, I didn't find anything, didn't see anything, nothing like that. I looked at the top of the tent, you know, just to see if it left anything. I didn't see anything on the top of the tent. But again, I'm 5'10", and that tent, you know, easily comes to about here in my face. So it's a fairly tall dome tent, you know, 4-man type tent. So that encounter really freaked me out. So that was in December. It was Christmas weekend. Just a couple months later in February, I go back and I get the exact same spot. I set up everything the exact same way. Okay.
Cooler. Okay. Was your cooler outside the door?
Oh no, I keep that in the truck. I don't go back outside no more.
You learned a lesson on that one.
He taught me something. You know what I mean? You know? So this time I brought my dog, and amazing dog, wonderful dog. Just one of the best dogs on the face of the earth as personality and politeness, and just a wonderful dog. Never barked. I've had the dog for 4 years, adopted it from Puerto Rico, you know, when the hurricanes hit down there. And it doesn't bark. Maybe it does. I just don't understand Spanish. I don't know. But the dog never barked. And Alex. And just a very quiet dog, very good natured. So I brought him along to see how he would do on a camp out. Did amazing. We went on hikes. We did a lot of things. The dog was fantastic. So nightfall comes again. And the hikes have been uneventful. I wasn't finding anything. Pretty quiet. And so we go to bed, and I brought his bed. So he had something he was familiar with, you know, so he slept at my feet. So we go to bed, and again, I don't know what time it was. It was pretty late, and the temperature was way better. I did not have the fly on my tent this time, so I could see everything. Matter of fact, I still have it. While I was laying there, I took a picture straight up because the trees crisscrossed up, you know, way up high in the canopy. It was just a neat picture with the darkness, that dark bluish tint, and with the branches. I just thought it was an amazing picture. So I took a photograph of that. And so we went to bed. I don't know how long it was. I was pretty good sleeping. And all of a sudden I hear my dog growling. And it was a low, just gentle growl. Not an angry growl, but just a gentle growl. And it woke me up because I'm a light sleeper. And I'm looking at my dog, and he is staring at the window area right there at my shoulder. And he's just sitting there staring at it, just intent, just staring. So I'm sitting there like, okay, man, something's up. So I slowly just sit up. So I'm in the sitting position now. And I turn and look, and there is something outside of the screen. And I'm not talking a few feet away. I'm talking a matter of a foot or so away on the other side of the screen of the tent. And it's just sitting there staring at me. And I can't see the face. I can just see the silhouette of a head and shoulders and stuff like that. And it was really weird because it gave me the impression when I look back on it, the only thing I can compare it to is the old gargoyle movies. And you saw the gargoyles, how they squat down with the wings around them. It reminded me of that something was sitting there squatted down. And like it's just its feet and its butt was on the ground. It kind of gave me that process of looking at it. That's what it was doing. And like I said, if there was no tent right there, I could have reached out and touched this thing on the face. That's how close it was. And it was just staring at me. I didn't hear it breathe. It didn't move. It just sat there. And my dog was just steady, just growling. So I reach over and I've got this huge flashlight. I mean, it's bright, I don't know how many lumens, but it's bright. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to blast this thing right in the face. I'm about to find out what this is. That's where I made a huge mistake. And
all right, stop right there. You have more guts than anybody I've ever heard.
It's not guts, Doug.
It is.
It's stupidity.
You have so many guts, and I don't know how they're still in your body.
You're the stupidest researcher I ever know.
I'm the dumbest researcher you ever met. I mean, it's not intelligent. And trust me, my guys will tell you, I go into the woods with a healthy level of fear. I really do. And but it's one of those things that if I don't do this, then why am I here? I mean, why am I here? I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting a weekend. I could be fishing or be safely in my house, but I'm out here camping by myself. Yeah. And I gotta find out what this is. See what I'm saying? So the problem where I made a mistake was I thought by having a tent where it was 360 field of view, I was not going to run into this mistake, which I'm about to explain to you. So
I wish you would have had the portholes, the 10 portholes that I tell people to build, because that would have given you a silent way, and even including with like even a built-in little periscopes around, would have given you a silent way to look and film whatever was out there.
Oh, it would have been
well, we got to get you fixed up. But go ahead.
There's so many things I want. So anyways, long story short, I get the flashlight. I've got my phone in my hand. I'm ready to blast this thing and take a photo. And so I hit the flashlight, and this is where I screwed up. Was I knew it would happen if I had the fly on, but evidently it's the same result with no fly. All I got was backflash from the flashlight. I didn't see anything. Except bam, nothing but light. And whatever it was shoved my tent. I mean, literally, I saw where it's, like I said, it's 18 inches from the ground up. That's solid around the tent. That whole thing pushed in. My dog jumped, freaked out, landed in my lap, ran behind me, and I brought him to protect me, but here I am protecting him. I'm freaking out. This thing takes off. I get organized. I got to call my dog. I get out again with the flashlight. It's gone. I don't know what it was.
Did you hear it run off? Did you hear it running off?
Well, with my dog in the tent jumping around and freaked out and stuff, I couldn't tell you. But it was a crazy moment. It was a crazy moment. I didn't sleep well the rest of the weekend. I just always kept having that thought. If I remember right, I want to say I put the fly back on the next night.
So the fly is what caused the reflection to come back into your eyes.
No, that's where I thought it. I took the fly off that night. I didn't have the fly. It was just
I
lead.
don't mean the fly. I meant the screen.
The screen reflects back just like
that's what I meant.
Just like the fly would. And I didn't think that. I thought it would shine right through, but that's not the case. So anybody out there, if you're in a tent and you turn on the flashlight, it's like you're not. Yeah, it's not a good thing. It's not.
Well, if you would have had portals around, the tent, you could have quietly crawled to one of those portals, put your eye up to it, or a camera out there, and then had a monitor. And like I tell people to buy a motorcycle dash cam, because you can keep one of those cameras outside on two sides, right and left.
I'm with
and
you.
You've got a little monitor you can have under your sleeping bag and look.
Well, every time I go out, it's a lesson learned.
Yeah.
Okay. Like the cooler doesn't stay outside no more, it stays in the truck. So what I do now is it's very inexpensive. Matter of fact, I'm probably going to do a show where I talk about equipment and practicality and little cheap things I found to do that's inexpensive that will help. And one of the things I did was very inexpensively. You can buy a case of chem lights very cheaply on Amazon. So what I do is I take tacks, regular tacks that you would use in the office. So I bought a box of those because they're cheap and reusable. And I put chem lights in a perimeter around my campsite. So if something does come in, I'm illuminating from behind them now. See what I'm saying? So I'm hoping that will give me a better view of something that enters, and I don't have to turn on my flashlight. Now,
but I think that's going to maybe steer them away from your campground. I don't think they'll approach.
Is that a bad thing, Doug?
Not if you don't want them there. If you want to lure them in, to me, the thing that has not been tried by some good researchers are little tiny 3.6 millimeter cameras that are, ran through a little slit on the right and left side. In fact, you could easily put 4 cameras, because I know you can expand to 4, and then you can just be recording all night in infrared, or just when you hear a sound, you hit the record button.
Well, what I started to do is this is my body cam from work, and it has a magnetic plate that goes inside the shirt and one on the outside the shirt, so it compresses together. So what I do now is I put one on inside the tent and one on the outside. So now the camera is stuck to the outside of the tent.
That's a good idea.
And I just hit record, go to bed. And
so it's wireless. It's wireless, Richard?
Correct.
Yeah.
Wireless. This thing will last days. Okay.
What is it? Can you share?
Yeah, it's a
little game camera.
It's called a Bob Love. They make a bunch of different models. I use this one for work, and it has night vision. It has a flashlight. It has an emergency, like beep 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 beep, and the light goes off in case you want to be found or whatever. Very inexpensive. You're talking $150, let's say. There's different models and stuff like that. The newer models even actually have a quick button right here. I like this one because it has a remote, so I can be in my bed, and if I hear something, I can remotely turn on this camera. So this is one of the things I talk about. It's fairly inexpensive, but it's $35 for the bracket that's a magnetic. Like I said, one goes inside my vest, the other one goes on outside, and they snap together but magnetically. And then this just snaps onto the outside one.
But aren't you going to need full coverage on the tent, like right and left sides?
Well, baby steps, Doug. Baby steps.
I just know your next story is going to be, well, it was on the back of the tent, and I grabbed the cooler, and I did this, and I hit the damn camera on the front of the tent. And, the next time I'm going to put, I should almost send you a camera system.
Yeah.
You've got guts, and you could probably, if you're willing, to go solo camping and actually throw out some good equipment in the right way, you might actually get something. because you're definitely in the right area.
We have a few good areas that we go to, and I say we because BFFG is a team. There's 4 of us. There's Bobby White, Jimmy Barr, and Mike Velez. It's just that we live in different places in the state.
Yeah.
We're hours apart from each other. So getting together, we do that once or twice a year, but everybody's doing their individual thing too. I do a lot though. Those guys are busy. They have families and wives and kids and stuff like that. I don't. So I'm able to get out every weekend. I'm able to do, at Christmas time, of course, they're with their families. I'm out camping. So I do spend a lot more time out there by myself. A lot of my weekend trips, just on a Saturday or Sunday, 99% of the time I'm by myself.
Richard, reading a comment from Eric. Tie a string to the cooler and the other end your big toe.
No. We call that the hook fin.
I did something similar to that once.
I'm not doing the hook fin.
I'm not doing that again. Anyhow.
No, I would probably lose a toe.
Okay. So. What's interesting is I've been doing this going on 40 years, and I swear to God, I get outsmarted each time. And each time I say, well, next time I'm going to do this. And next time. And they keep outsmarting me. I mean, this last time at Snell, Richard, we hit the camera so well, there's no way I could have said, Richard's right there. You can't see it.
Right.
Because it's covered with natural. The only thing showing is a little micro lens. The rest is hidden. And even that, they sat there and threw rocks at those cameras, letting us know they knew right where they were.
Right.
It's all of a sudden you hear chink.
Oh,
chink,
yeah.
And then the next camera, chink, chink. And, they're going around throwing rocks going.
Well,
really?
there's a lot of theory. I'm big on listening to all the theories with Bigfoot because I have my own. Yeah. And I ground mine all on evidence. My theories are not non-evidence. I gotta have evidence to help back up my theory. I can't. And Jeff Meldrum. Yes. He made a great comment one time, and I got an opportunity. I got to sit down and talk to him. Not this last Bigfoot conference, the Great Florida Bigfoot Conference, but the one before that. And I got a chance to talk to him early in the morning before the crowds came in and stuff. But he made this great comment. I'm sure everybody's heard it. You can't solve an unknown with an unknown. Okay. And I don't want to, I'm not one of those ones that says, well, I was tracking it for about 200 yards and it just disappeared. Well, what happened? Well, I think it went into a portal. You get that a lot.
Yeah.
I'm that guy that says, this is how I handle it. Yeah, I was tracking this thing for 200 yards and then I lost it. Well, what happened, Rick? I don't know. And I think that's where one of the biggest problems in Bigfoot research is researchers want to think they have all the answers. And it's okay to say, I don't know.
Absolutely, because that's what I tell everybody. I don't know anything.
I make it abundantly clear. I'm no expert. Every day I'm learning.
Yeah.
Every day I'm coming up with new ideas and new strategies. And I'm just trying to find answers. I was talking to Brian King Sharp from the Sasquatch Odyssey.
Yes.
And he made the comment to me. He goes, and he was at the Bigfoot conference, and he said, I'm not gonna lie, he goes, I still skeptic. I said, that's fantastic. There's nothing wrong with bringing some skepticism. I have skepticism. And the reason why I say that is skepticism creates questions. Questions create the answers.
Yeah, true.
So you have to have some skepticism. When we go out in the woods and I find an arch or I find anything that's out of the ordinary, I'm like, wow, check this out. I try to debunk it first.
Yeah.
I try to find another explanation for it. And then if I can't, I still don't call it a specific thing. I say, this is interesting.
Yeah.
This could be something substantial. This could be something important. So I'm going to document it. I let my viewers decide on what they think it is. I've got, I don't know, 370 something videos out there, and not one time do I call anything a Bigfoot, because in the end, I didn't see him do it.
Right.
So I have to maintain that skepticism. I'm a true knower. There's like everybody says, there's knowers, believers, and non-believers. I'm a knower, but I still have to come in with that skepticism, or I would not be an investigator.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't be an investigator. I would just be a knower. And every time I hear something, that's a Bigfoot. Oh, that noise is a Bigfoot. Oh, that's a Bigfoot. And I'm not that guy. So I have to come in it and go, okay, what was that noise? Let me figure this out. You know what I mean? And that's how our team is. I've had stuff, other guys have had stuff and say, hey, check this out. This is really good. And we're our own peer review. You know what I mean? And I'm going to give you my honest opinion. And it's not always what you want to hear, but I'm always going to be truthful, because people need to hear the truth. You see what I'm saying? It's not to hurt feelings. It's not personal. I don't say it because, I don't like this guy, so I'm going to just debunk his stuff. No, I'm going to always be honest with you and tell you what I think. And people do it to me. So I'll submit stuff to researchers that I really, really respect in this field, and they'll come back to me saying, nah, Rick, I think it's nothing, blah, blah, blah. And it goes onto the cut room floor. Bloop, moving on. If it's not good enough for them, then, and that's who we really got to prove it to, is each other. I'm not worried about the people that don't believe, because you're never going to change their mind. Okay. Kerry Arnold was a friend of mine. I've been in the field with him numerous times, me and the team. And, his biggest thing was, the goal is to make people aware. They don't have to believe. Just make them aware. Okay. Doug, when you go out there, Alex, when you go out there, you're aware. This thing could be out there watching me right now. See what I'm saying? That's all we're looking for, is awareness.
So people to pay attention.
Right. Just pay attention to your surroundings and what's going on. I do not want people to stop going in the woods at all. And I don't promote any channel or any book or anything like that I feel is going to create fear. I don't want people to fear the woods. You know what I mean? To me, it's a great place. I go out there every weekend, and that's where I regenerate. I'm by myself. I can think. I can work through issues I'm having at work, or with my employees or whatever. And I get out of the woods, and that's why I tell people, hey guys, we didn't get nothing today. Today was nothing. It was a big zero. But you know what? I accomplished my goal, and that was getting out in the woods. It's a numbers game, guys. You got to get out there, or you're never going to see it. So the more you go out, the better your chances. But if there was no such thing as Sasquatch, I'd still be hiking. I'd still be camping. I'd still be doing this. I just happen to be looking for something while I'm out there. You know what I mean? So it keeps me grounded. It keeps me in that perspective of what I do. I'm not a channel where people are going to see Bigfoot stuff every week. Yeah. I'm gonna give you information every week, but to me, it's a big red flag if somebody every single week they're showing you, hey, this is what I caught. This is what I caught. That's a big red flag. Doug, you've done some amazing shows, and it's a lot of time spent out there. Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's and sometimes when you have some kind of weird activity, it's still zero.
It's all anecdotal.
It's all anecdotal, but and you wrestle with the fact that, well, what else can do this or what else can do that? And you can't come up with any answers. Right. So you're always left with that Bigfoot explanation, because what can throw a big rock at you at 3 a.m?
Yeah. But there was a time we went to this one area, and I like I said, I'm honest to a fault. So I get out there before Jimmy gets out there. Now, this area that we're camping in, it's a 7-mile drive at 20 miles per hour to get to this location.
Yeah.
Okay. It's way out there. And I was hoping he'd get there first, because Jimmy's definitely got more brass than I got. So, but I got out there before him, and then all of a sudden he messaged me, "Hey, I'm just now leaving the house," and that means he's 45 minutes away, and I'm like, you know what I mean? So I suck it up and I start putting my tent together and stuff like that, you know. So I go to the tail of my truck and I lower the tailgate and I'm checking gear and stuff like that. And all of a sudden I hear like something came out of the trees and landed beside me. So something just got thrown. I immediately grab the phone, turn around, and start filming. Now this is on my channel. So I'm filming. It's a very short video. I think it's a minute and a half long. And I'm panning. I did not take a step forward or step back, nothing. All I did was pan. That's all I did. And there was something there. I didn't notice it when I'm filming, but I went back and watched the video and I saw something, but I didn't say anything. I posted the video. Sure enough, somebody jumped on it and said, there was something standing there. And when you panned back, it was gone. It was gone. It was like you could see a shoulder and the shin down or something like that. You know, the brush was covering it. But when I panned back, gone. So something was there. You know what I mean? So Jimmy pulls up and I'm excited. I'm like, Jimmy, something just threw something at me, you know, blah, 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 blah. So we did that, you know, checked out, didn't find anything. It's a crazy area. I'm planning, I'm going to throw it out there. I'm planning an expedition we're hoping in March. If it doesn't happen in March, it's got to happen later in the year. But in 2025, myself, Randy Harrington, Johnny Two Bears, and Miguel Ramirez from Sasquatch Theory, we're going to get together and go out to this location and do a thing. So my team will be there, you know, and then, you know, those guys and stuff like that.
Have you had action or activity when you've got numbers of other researchers, or is it generally just when you're alone?
No. Last year, Johnny Two Bears came down with one of his guys, and then we had me, Jimmy, and Bobby out there. So let me paint the picture for you. Same exact camping area. We're way out there. It's a clear area, completely surrounded by forest. And we had been out all night long, you know, doing some night stuff. And we found some possible prints we think is a juvenile that night and stuff like that. We get back to camp. This is the last night there. So, you know, we wanted to get a good night's sleep. Everybody was leaving the next day and we had camp to tear down and stuff. So to kind of give everybody a picture, let's say my tent is at 3:00. Bobby's was probably, I don't know, 30, 40 feet from my tent. So me and him were pretty close together. Johnny and his guy were, I don't know, 50 yards up from us. Jimmy was 150 yards that way by himself. Jimmy always likes to put himself away from everybody else as bait. So we come in that night and I walk over to Johnny and you know, one of his teammates, Lloyd, and we're all sitting around, you know, sitting by, you know, the tents at these benches talking. And all of a sudden we get these growls, loud growls, scary growls. We all stood up immediately. And I had the video and I grab my phone, I start recording and I put on a headlamp. This was the first time doing research. I actually pulled out my pew-pew because it was that scary. So we start heading into the woods and we have this deep guttural growl. For example, coming at my 10 o'clock, and we're shining. We're trying to figure out what this is, and you can hear twigs breaking and different things. Something's moving, and you still get this guttural growl. It's nonstop. This thing will not stop growling.
Can you kind of give us an example of that, Richard?
Well, I can give you a good example. Is just picture a gator bellowing. Okay. Because that was our argument later. Was it gators? Was it not gators? So we have it at 10 o'clock. Then all of a sudden, another one at 12. And all of a sudden, another one over here at 2:00. So where me, Lloyd, and Johnny were at, there's 3 of us, and there's 3 of these sounds.
And you're sure it's not a gator?
Well, let me finish, and we'll
Okay. All
tell
right.
you why there's confusion. So I'm like, we got to get Jimmy. We got to get Jimmy. We got to get Bobby. You know. So Bobby's at his tent. Like I said, now he's 50 yards behind me. He's got one at his tent in the woods growling. Okay. The next morning, because Jimmy never came out, Jimmy stayed in his tent, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. He had it going on at his tent. He's 150 yards away. So wherever there was a man, there was one of these things growling. So I video and I do all this stuff, and and it went on for quite some time. I know when I went to bed, I could still hear it, So we go back, I'm doing the video, I'm doing all this editing and stuff like that. And I post some little stuff about it and stuff like that. Well, then Jimmy calls me and says, dude, don't delete anything. You need to check this out. So Jimmy's really good at taking the film that I film and zooming in and then slowly walking himself through it. And when he did that, eye shine. Perfect. It just looks like 2 perfect eyes. Okay. So I'm like, holy crap. It looks really good. I mean, I'm like, okay, it looks like 2 eyes to me, but we're all researchers. So, different guys are like, well, it could be moisture on leaves or, and the growls could have been gators and stuff like that. Well, here's my only argument with the gator thing was this. Gators bellow in Florida. I don't know. I can't talk to other states, but we have a lot of gators here. And I'm an avid fisherman. They bellow in April, May, and June. This was October. The nearest water source, and I measured it out, was over 700 yards away through the forest. Okay. And we had gone to that water area a couple nights before, and we spotlighted the whole thing, saw 1 gator. And it was probably about a 4-footer, maybe a 5-footer, 1 gator. And at nighttime, if there's 50 in there, you're going to see all 50. Okay. They pop up just like that. Red eyes everywhere. Red eyes. 1 gator. The whole time when we were out at that pond for half hour, 40 minutes or whatever, I took some beautiful pictures and footage. 1 gator. But all of a sudden, 700 yards away, surrounding our campsite, we got 5. See what I'm saying? So I started questioning things, you know what I mean? Without calling it anything in particular, just really questioning, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So me and Jimmy ended up going back months later, and we ended up going back and taking the footage. We found the exact spot, the trees, everything was perfect, exactly where the footage was, exactly where the eye shine was, and everything was perfect. We knew where I was standing and everything. So we went to where we estimate where this thing was at, because it was outside of the view of my headlamp, and the eye shine was 8 feet. That's how tall the eye shine was. It was 8 feet tall.
Was it just a white eye shine?
It was, to me, it was white, like silver, white, and they were pretty far apart. Like if it was on my head, they would have been right here. Okay. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was pretty wide. I think me and Jimmy looked at it, and we estimated it was probably between eyes, somewhere between 6 to 8 inches.
Did you guys record any of the growling or?
Oh yeah, it's all on my YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is there an episode you can steer people to?
Yes. It's either going to say Florida Expedition Day 3, we were surrounded, or it's just we were surrounded.
Gotcha.
As a matter of fact, I used a AI thumbnail on it because there was such contention on what we thought it was. So I did an AI of a Sasquatch crossbred with an alligator. So just look for that funny picture of a weird looking alligator.
Alex, Could you maybe Alex could find it? We could play just a short little snippet of something.
Sure. Yeah.
Just to give
Alex,
people an idea. Alex, could you locate?
you want to go look for that, Alex?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Just scroll down and like I said, you'll look at the thumbnail. Go to videos, not shorts, but go to videos, and it'll be an alligator looking thing. Okay, it's like a 10-minute video, but I think it starts right off the bat with the sound. So anyways, while he's doing that, we go back and we investigate, and we found in that area where this thing would have been standing 15-inch tracks. 15-inch tracks.
Okay.
And it's really weird because I find one and I go, holy crap, look at this. Jimmy goes, hey, look what I got. He's probably 20 feet away from me. I walk over there and the prints were identical. Identical. We measured them, same width, same length, identical. You know, so I don't know. And then being there, you know, in that area at daytime, you really get a sense of how thick it was in there. I don't know, man. It's like I said, I steer away from saying anything as an absolute. You know what I mean? It's just one of those situations we were in that it was strange. It was crazy. And I don't want it to happen again. You know what I mean? I don't want it to happen again. It was pretty scary, and it would have been scarier if I was by myself. Absolutely. I'm glad I had Johnny Two Bears there and Lloyd, and you know, we were all armed just in case. But nothing as scary as my very first encounter, which was what set this whole thing in motion. That's what got me in contact with Kerry Arnold, and that's what got me in contact with different researchers and stuff like that. You know, that fear is different because it's the first time. You know what I mean? The first time is always the scariest. So
do you believe there is a huge connection with water? I mean, this geographic area you haven't really explained, but most of Florida is kind of swampy, so maybe you don't.
A lot of swamp, and especially if you look at my last couple of weeks of videos, I'm sloshing in nothing but water.
Yeah. Okay.
We're just completely drenched right now. This hurricane is not going to help out. Yeah, we have a lot of dry area. Pine forests, for the most part, are dry. You get into the cypress areas, you run into a lot of swamp, a lot of standing water and stuff like that.
But do you like to do research in swampy areas?
No, I like to do research from my couch.
No, when you go into the bush, do you like to be in a swamp, or would you rather be in the edge of a swamp in a pine forest, or where?
Yeah, I'd rather be in a pine forest with accessibility to water someplace nearby, and that's what I look for. I have a drone, so I'll fly a drone and look at the area to give me an idea of what I'm about to walk into. And I found this great area recently, and Jimmy came and we went out there because there was a creek out there. I never knew there was a creek out there. You know, those are key things. I look for, one, I'm different than other people is I like a lot of land. Okay. I'm not going to go investigate 50 acres. See what I'm saying? I'm looking at 3,000, 4,000, 90,000 acres. See what I'm saying? Because to me, they need room. They need room to hunt. They need room to move. And the smaller the acreage, I think, the less likely they're going to stay there. I think they want to go where I think they feel safer. And you know, so I look for big properties. I look for water, and I look for what are the food sources. Like the places I go to, high hog populations. We basically have every animal Florida offers in these areas. The matter of fact, me and Jimmy were looking at this map, and it listed all the possible animals that you can see in this area. And I looked at Jimmy and said, all that is a menu. That's all that is a menu. So, you know, you have all these sources, you got water, you got cover, perfect environment. That's what I tell people when they want to start researching is look for an area that meets these criteria. Okay. I also really like management areas or preserves, not necessarily state parks, which I do think are can be credible, but it's preserves and management areas. Okay. Those I like a lot. The place I go to, it's 3,000 acres, but right up to thousands and thousands of more acres. Okay. But I'm just researching this one 3,000 acre spot, and there's no hunting, no fishing. You're not allowed to camp, not allowed to make a fire. You can only hike or bike, and there's never anybody out there. It's so rare that we go out there and we run into somebody. It's rare. So it has everything that I'm looking for, you know?
So Richard, help me out here.
See that with the alligator?
Yeah, this one right
What
here.
Yeah, what's the title?
Florida Expedition Part 5.
That's all it says?
Yeah, Florida Expedition Part 5. We were surrounded.
That's
on
it.
your earbuds.
Hey,
So
let's
should
go
I
ahead and
play
a
this?
clip, if you don't mind, Richard?
Huh?
If you don't mind, we'll play a little clip.
Play it loud.
That's not an alligator, right? It's not an alligator. I've never heard one before. Hey, buddy. No. What you doing? It's okay. That's resonating. I hope I'm picking it up.
Right there's where the eye shine was.
That's multiple. Hey, buddy. You watch left. We are getting a growl. We got two of them. There's movement to the right. Movement to the right. I don't know if y'all are hearing this. That is deep, guttural growl. And it's to our left, and then another one happened over here to our right. There's definitely two. But I'm hearing branches break. That is not hogs. Hogs don't growl.
All right, hit pause, Alex.
Yeah. Can you hear it? Because with me, I've always got headphones on. If you have your earbuds, you hear this deep guttural growl. And the weird thing about it is it didn't stop. It was like growling on an inhale and on an exhale. It just kept this low growl going. It just kept going. And very scary night. Very, very scary night.
I can only imagine. Do you guys go back to this, this particular area again and again, or do you leave it alone for a while and let it sit
We
for
haven't
months
been
at a time? Or, I mean, how do you work the, picking a spot?
We try to go out to this location at least once a year.
Okay.
There's been a lot of sightings out there. Matter of fact, when Kerry Arnold was alive, he did the 168. It was filmed there. That's where they filmed the 168. Not that exact location, but that that forest that we were in, that
Gotcha.
90,000 acres.
Got you. So what do you think? What do you think these things are, Richard? What's your best guess?
Well, it's a very, very easy answer for me. It is a living, breathing creature. It's natural. It is something that is trying to avoid us. It's trying to survive, and it's trying to just live. I think we see it by accident. I truly believe people like myself and other people, for us to actually go in the woods on a Pacific to look for it is going to be extremely difficult, but it's got to be done. I think most sightings are by accident, by hikers, fishermen, huntermen, joggers, whatever, and they just happen to come in circumstance and run into each other, and they're like, holy crap, a Bigfoot. And he's like, holy crap, a human. I think that's, if you know, and you've probably seen a lot of reports yourself, Doug, that's a lot of them. That's a lot of them. So I just try to put myself in those situations where I'm constantly walking in the woods, and maybe I take the right turn and I walk right into one, and it's standing there, and I'm able to record.
So do you go on the fact that these things are really curious about us?
I think they're curious, but more of entertainment. Like, what are they doing? Let me check these people out. But I don't think they really care about us. I really don't. I don't subscribe to that they're these man-eating beasts that if you go out there, they're going to kill you and rip your arms off and stuff like that. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. I'm not going to say it wouldn't happen. I think if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, and like a bear or anything else, you come there and they got young and they want to be protective, or you're in an area they don't want you in, I think you could find yourself in a dangerous situation. But I think in general, they're passive. They just want to avoid you. And I think that's why you hear it all the time where they look at you and they're shocked, like, oh crap, I messed up. Yeah. But they always walk away. They always go their own way, and they leave you alone, or they follow you out. They just want to make sure you're leaving. See what I'm saying?
Well, they'd almost have to operate similar to a black bear. I mean, black bears do really well because they operate on fear. You know, they pretty much avoid us. And then when they do, they don't want to really bite us. They just maybe want to intimidate us a bit and then leave, you know. They don't want to confront. That's why they throw rocks.
Right.
But do you believe that they're probably as afraid of you as you are of it?
I wouldn't say so much as afraid as so much as I just don't think they want to give up that element of being there. I think they want to stay hidden. I think the rock throwing and different things like that is more or less a lot of times when I hear about it, it always comes from behind you. And it happened to me when I was at the truck. It came from behind me. I think it's more like, hey, turn around, and then they duck down. You know, it could be a juvenile playing games. I think they just want to look at me. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think they may be able to even look at you and assess, are you a threat? Are you a bad guy? You know what I mean? Because we go out there, we talk, but we're not obnoxious. We're not yelling and screaming and hollering and just acting up in the woods. We're talking, we're having communication. I'm big on that. I don't subscribe to the whole, you've got to be quiet. Everything's got to be pitch black. You know what I mean?
No, I think you're right there, because literally, excuse me, with any animal, including deer and, you know, even squirrels and rabbits, they respond to you talking. So they know you're not a predator. You're not trying to sneak up on them. So I agree. There's no need to try to be really quiet. And, you know, I think you can just be, how would I say it? Unsneaky. So the less unsneaky.
I want them to know I'm there. I want them to say, hey, I'm here. You know what I mean? They know I'm there. I'm not a big advocate of tromping through the woods and swamps in Florida at nighttime. It's extremely dangerous. I don't think people really understand how dangerous Florida really is when you're out there in the woods at night. There are so many things that will do you harm.
Yeah.
And you're not going to see it. It is dark out there with a headlamp, night vision, whatever.
Do you guys wear snake boots?
I do wear snake gaiters.
Yeah.
You know, I do.
Have you ever run into any snakes?
The snakes we
Like
ran
poisonous?
into have been harmless, but I know the other guys have ran across moccasins and rattlesnakes and stuff like that. You know, we have a lot of poisonous snakes in Florida. A lot. I think we have 4 or 5 poisonous rattlesnake breeds. We have coral snake, moccasins. We have like 4 or 5 different kinds of black widows. We have hogs, bears, panthers, gators. There's so many things that can do you harm. So I'm not a big advocate of walking around at night.
Even the bushes can get you. I mean, I've been to Florida and out in the bush quite a bit. There's vines and things in Florida that'll just cut the crap out of you, man.
We have a deadly tree. A deadly tree. Look it up. I didn't even know that. There is a tree that only grows in South Florida that is deadly.
Right.
You know what I mean?
How is it deadly? Is it poisonous? Like what?
The sap or whatever, if it gets on you or whatever and it soaks into you or whatever, it'll kill you.
Wow. So poisonous sap. I don't think I've ever heard of something like that.
Didn't know it until somebody mentioned it to me. So I Googled it, and sure enough, they were right.
You haven't lived, Alex, until you've had fire ants climbing up your pants and into your crotch area. I had that happen to me in Florida once.
Yeah,
you stand in one place too long.
Yep.
Just
and then,
one place and count to 20. You better move because fire ants discover you.
So if you're out in the middle of the woods at night and your back itches, you better not rub up against a tree. That's
well, it's really funny too because one of Jimmy's pet peeves is ticks. That's one of his pet peeves. So right off the bat, right when we get out of the trucks, right when we start hiking, I'll reach over and pinch his neck and he go, "What?" I said, "Oh, I was just getting this tick off your neck." And there was no tick. But for the rest of the day, he's bothered by it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I kind of mess with him and stuff like that. But Kerry Arnold made that comment that you're looking for Bigfoot until you see a rattlesnake.
Well, okay.
Now you're hunting rattlesnakes.
let me butt in here. Caillou asked a question about how hard it would be for a Bigfoot to survive out there too, because they got to deal with these vines and these snakes and these trees and these, poisonous spiders and everything, alligators and blah, blah, blah.
Well, I think they are, immune to a lot of it. It's like anything, you're going to adapt to your environment. If I got soft feet, but if I go outside in Florida and walk around on the pavement every single day, I'm going to have calluses this thick. My body's going to adjust to certain things. I think Sasquatch is probably, I would assume, immune to most. For example, a possum. A Florida possum is impervious to poisonous snakes. Yeah. A rattlesnake can bite a possum and it will not kill it. A lot of people don't realize that. It's immune from it. It's also immune from rabies. A possum does not get rabies.
Yep, they don't get rabies, and they can take a snake bite. It's crazy.
Yep. So when you look at a Sasquatch, I think they probably have some traits that are help them adapt and survive. Probably a lot different than the Pacific Northwest, because we are looking at 2 different areas, way different areas. So I think ours are different than theirs, only due to environment, adjusting to the environment that they're in. I think that's why, in general, here they're shorter and thinner, more aggressive. Hot weather pisses us off. Sorry. So they're probably just, that's why you always hear they're more aggressive down here. So, like I said, I create a lot of its environment. I have a lot of theories on different areas of behavior and stuff like that with the Sasquatch. Why we don't see them and stuff like that. I'm not into the whole cloaking thing or anything like that. Because what brought it up, what made me think one day is everybody says the same thing. They're so smart. They're so intelligent. And I'm like, okay, let's define that for a moment though. Let's define that, because you're talking about a creature that is not using fire. And it's had the capability of having fire by now, if it's been around as long as it has been. It's not using weapons per se. Okay. It might use a rock to break open a nut, but it's not building hammers, and it's not creating, whatever structures that we attribute to Sasquatch are very rudimentary. You know what I mean? There's some intricacies in it that make you think that something created this, but it's still rude. You know what I mean? For something that's been around a long time. So I was like, well, how do we define intelligence then? And I was like, I know. And I always use this example. When Sasquatch is intelligent in its environment, just like a bear, just like a panther, it's very intelligent in its environment. So I told this one guy, we were out in the woods. He was a subscriber. He wanted to go out with me. I said, yeah, man, come on. I'll take anybody out. So he goes out with me, and that was the subject he brought up. And I said, if you're walking in the woods and you come across a Florida panther, it's going to see you before you see it. And the first thing a panther does is he stops, he crouches down, and he waits. And you'll walk right by him, and you'll never see him, never hear him, or nothing. And as you keep on walking, once you get far enough away, he's going to get up and he's going to go about his business. Okay. And you never knew he was there. Never knew he was there. So he's smart. He knows the environment. He smells you. He sees you. He hears you. He's aware. He's smarter than you. We're the dummies in the woods. We're walking around clumsy, tripping over things. We're smelling like bug spray. You got some people smoking cigars, some people doing this. We're the dummies in the woods. They're the bright ones. You take that panther and you pick him up and you drop him off in Manhattan, downtown New York City, and let him go. Who's the dumb one now? He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to act. This is not his environment. He's going to try climbing walls. He doesn't know what to do. It's the same thing. When we're in their environment, we're the dummies. When they're in our environment, they're the dummies.
That's a great analogy.
So, granted, I think they are smart. I think they have some self-awareness, okay? But we really got to define intelligence. People keep using that term. They're really intelligent. But really, how intelligent are they, okay? Because that brings up the question, how long have they been here? Okay, well, let's just look at Florida. We go back 200-300 years, and we've got Indians saying they've been here that whole time. Well, they haven't progressed much in 200 years. See what I'm saying? But the humans here have progressed. So you got to look at, what is the intelligence level? I really like Christopher Noel when he talks about the relation with autism.
Oh yeah, have you experienced? Okay, let's talk about that, because I think that's one of the better connections possibly that I've heard is their autistic type behavior, because I've seen it. At least I believe that's what it was. Doing repetitive things, curious, but yet, like an example would be, something came up on the porch, opened and closed a recycling bin like 20, 30 times. Did the steel recycling bin 20 or 30 times, and then walked down to the truck, was messing with the Velcro, then came back up and redid that again. Oh, it just kept doing it over and over. Yeah. And then shoved the cabin and then left.
Right.
And it's like, and then when I heard Christopher's theory, I was like, yeah.
Oh, it's an amazing theory. I mean, and then that's what it is. It's a theory, and that's what I tell everybody. That's all we have is theories. Everything we do is theories. Yep. Some are logical, and I can grasp hold of that. Some are way out there. I'm just not gonna entertain it because I don't have any proof for it. But his theory on the autism, where you're finding sticks lined up, or stones lined up, the rocking behavior. You know what I mean? A prime example is you can have a child that's autistic, that is nonverbal, will not communicate, perfectly healthy, but picks up sign language. But they're not deaf, but that child picked up sign language, and that's how they communicate. Even though they can talk.
Well, one thing with autism, they have incredible memories.
Right.
they'd rather watch the credits in the movie and read the credits, because they can memorize every single name in the credits.
So when you look at that behavior, how did you define that intelligence on a child? How do you define it? You're like, wow, that's smart. They memorize all that, but yet they can't color in the lines. See what I'm saying?
I'm just saying, maybe autism is a holdback because autism would help you survive because you could remember where you were. Photographic memory, hiding is something they like to do.
Yeah.
Staying hidden, antisocial. They don't want anything to do with us.
Right.
On and on. I always wondered though if autism is just like some kind of prehistoric holdback. It's like a gene that's giving modern. It's like some people are born with tails, right?
Yep.
There's recidivism genes that happen every once. There's people that are born covered with hair. Still, why? There's got to be a reason for it.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. I mean, it's sometimes it makes me sick because I think a lot about Sasquatch, and that's because I have no life. But anyways, sometimes you think autism, maybe they're the smart ones and we're the dumb. Maybe we're just not meant to know everything. They're smart enough not knowing everything. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's not important. I don't need to know that. You know what I mean? I am now.
The wisdom of ignorance.
I turned 56 in a few months, and I've yet to use algebra. So why? You know what I mean? What did I mean?
Why learn it?
But it's stuck in there somewhere. I had to learn it. It's stuck in there somewhere.
Have you witnessed any type of autistic behavior in your nighttime encounters on your research trips?
Nothing that I would classify in that range. It would definitely take somebody as intelligent as Christopher Noel to probably recognize it before I would.
Yeah.
But it's just, to me, the behavior is very animalistic. It's not, to me, this is just my theory. I'm not here to upset anybody or bash their theory or what they believe in. I'll listen to anybody and stuff like that, but I don't lean towards the supernatural. I've heard this thing walking. I've heard this thing touching things. I've heard this thing doing natural things. We have hair, we have footprints, we have vocals, we have structures. These are all biological, natural things that this thing is doing. See what I'm saying? That's what I stick to. That's what I'm focused on. You know what I mean? All the other stuff is just too much for my plate. I have a lot on my plate with what I already know and what I'm already researching. So I don't add all that other stuff because I couldn't really investigate it anyways. I mean, if you saw a UFO and I saw a Bigfoot, I have to find a correlation. Or is there a correlation, or is it just coincidental? I see a UFO and there's a Bigfoot. I tell people all the time, if I see a UFO and a Bigfoot, I'm like, oh, look, a UFO. There's Bigfoot, and I'm going in that direction because that's where my focus is.
I don't think it helps us to connect dots that aren't connected. Or
correct. And I tell people all the time, they'll say, like, I know the quantum physics thing is a big thing right now, but there is no correlation between the two. And I did a whole show on my channel about the quantum physics things. I explained it to them because I've read the book. I've talked to Ron Moorhead, or let's say I have attempted to. Handlers keep me away from him for some reason.
Handlers.
Yeah, I just got questions, and I just want answers. But I really did do a deep dive into that, and it's just I'm not finding the connection. I'm just not finding it at all. But the natural world, I find a big connection there. You know what I mean? I think this thing is really good in its environment. Stuff like that. They're not our teachers. They're not teaching us anything. They're not our stewards of the forest. They're creatures out there trying to survive, trying to avoid us, trying not to get shot during hunting season, and trying to survive. They're trying to live. And that's why I look for larger areas, because it's about breeding. And that brought up another thing when we were talking, like that 90,000 acres we go to. It's cut off from the world. There is a what I would consider a fairly large amount of Sasquatch living in this 90,000 acres. They cannot go anywhere. There is no place to go. Outside of this 90,000 acres is either miles of flat land of farms or residential areas. So there's no place to go. There's no place to hide. They have to stay in at 90,000 acres. Now, let's say they've been there for 100 years, 200 years, whatever length of time in this 90,000 acres that they've been able to call home. It brings up inbreeding. If you're going to maintain a population, you've got to have a viable breeding group. To do that, at some point after a length of time, there's going to be inbreeding. I think that's why we see different traits in the Sasquatch due to that. Kind of like a Down syndrome look, maybe. Also, maybe that's where the agitated behavior comes from. Different things like that. I think in this particular area, I think inbreeding is an issue. I really do. They've just been there for a long time. It would have to be, because I think kind of like gorillas, and I think a gorilla is a really good thing to look at if you're going to research Bigfoots, because their behaviors are quite similar. And the you're looking at the gestation period of a gorilla is the same as a human. It's 8.5 to 9 months. So if they're the same, and the Sasquatch is the same, they're breeding fairly quickly. And instead of like gorillas, when a male gets to a certain age of maturity, they have two choices, or three choices: challenge for king of the troop, so he gets all the ladies, or falls in line and becomes a follower and never gets the ladies, or leaves the pack and creates his own family. Okay. I would assume that's the same thing you run into with the Sasquatch. That's why we run into the rogue Sasquatch, the one that's by himself, because he's probably out there looking for a mate. He's probably out there looking for a family. And that might make him more aggressive as well. I don't know. But that's just my theory, that's just where I stand on that.
Yeah, we don't know what we don't know, Richard.
We don't know enough. We just
don't know
don't know
anything.
enough.
But I do know, I'm open-minded, but I generally don't try to connect a bunch of phenomena. Their super abilities by their great strength.
Yes.
That people talk about. Once again, we don't even know that, but it seems that they have great strength, and probably can do some pretty big leaps and climb trees really quick, and they probably can do some pretty amazing things. Maybe their vision, maybe they see in UV, maybe they see in IR. There's no doubt their vision's probably totally amazing at night.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, and once again, we're just assuming, but it would be nice to know, wouldn't it?
It would. I wish I had all the answers.
I wish I had any.
It's a fantastic subject, and trust me, I feel privileged that I'm able to get out there all the time and do what I do and enjoy what I do. I've met some fantastic people. Fantastic people doing this. I've got to associate with some great people. I've gotten some great opportunities that was presented to me. This was a great opportunity. Being on this show, it's a great opportunity. You know what I mean? It's Doug Hajicek and Alex Hajicek. How great can you get? So,
you're too kind.
Yeah. Do you feel that
I bow down
these
to
things will be recovered, Richard? Do you think we'll know more in our life?
I'm hopeful. I encourage people all the time on my channel and everything else. Get out in the woods. The more people that go out there, the more people that are camping and hiking and stuff, actually increases our odds. Okay. Don't fear the woods, enjoy the woods, but respect the woods, clean up your trash, take care of the woods, but get out there. And I don't care who gets this. If it's me or a hiker or, some famous person, I don't care. Okay. It just has to happen. And I want to preserve this thing because, to be honest with you, I'm not going to speak for every state, but our Florida government knows this thing exists. They know it exists. There's no question our legislature knows it exists. And I can prove that. See what I'm saying? There's a hunting brochure. Everybody's seen it on the internet now because we put this thing out a couple of years ago. It clearly says it right there in the hunting regulations in the hog section. There is the no taking of skunk apes, Sasquatch, or whatever they want to call it. But they list it in there. There is no taking of one of them. It's in there. In the I want to say it was in the 1970s. I have the paperwork, like 8 pages of it, where the Florida legislature was in session discussing what were they going to do about the skunk ape. What were they going to call it? What were they going to do to protect it? What were they going to do about it? See what I'm saying? These discussions have taken place in the state of Florida. I don't know about other states. I know other states have laws that you can't kill one, but Florida definitely has acknowledged this thing's existence since the 1970s. So
it's pretty interesting. How often can the average guy go investigate the greatest mystery on Earth?
That's fantastic, Doug, because this is something that in any state that you live in, you can just walk out there and do this.
Yeah.
You can do this. You know what I mean? And it doesn't take a lot. Take a phone, take a bottled water, some comfortable shoes, and start walking. You know what I mean?
I just got a text from my daughter who decided today to go camping with her girlfriend in the same spot they had a Bigfoot encounter last, I think it was like 4 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. So she's getting into this, and she heard something pushing tree after tree after tree all the way around them down.
Yeah.
Now you could say, you could come up with a million excuses what that was, but she said it was insane.
Yeah.
Like it was insane. And she just surprised me. I just got a photo of her campfire going. But this is something she doesn't know anything about camping. You know, she's just a young gal, but she's doing it. She's out there doing it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing is you can't, there's a lot of people out there that we question their integrity, from years past or whatever they did or whatever. And that's fine. But I still, not to defend a person or be on their side, but I always throw out that point. They're still out in the woods. They are still going out in the woods.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that are not. See what I'm saying? They're not.
Absolutely.
So you've got to give credit where credit's due.
Well, I think 90% of the people that go camping go into a campground.
Right.
And yeah, there's even activity at campgrounds occasionally.
Occasionally, yeah.
Occasionally, but most people don't go solo. My older brother, he went solo almost every other weekend alone, and he carried nothing. He didn't even bring water with him. He brought a backpack. He brought some rope and a knife, and he left for a week at a time with topography maps. And
did he have hot dogs?
Pardon?
Did he have hot dogs?
No hot dogs, no food. He brought no food with him. He just lived off the land, whatever he could find, whatever he could do. And he would camp with no tent either, but he would camp in areas that were thick with mosquitoes and ticks. He took my other brother with him one time, and my brother started begging him after one night. He just begged him, get me out of here. Because people don't realize if you really get into the thick part of the woods of northern Minnesota, it's claustrophobic.
It's tough in general. I have accidentally put myself in some really bad situations.
Yeah.
That it's made me. I'm really questioned going out by myself a lot now because of those bad decisions I've made. Because I get so caught up in what I'm doing that I'm not paying attention to what's around me. And I went out this one area. It was dry when I went in, But by the time I realized, okay, oh crap, man, it's getting dark. I need to start heading back. I was lost. And I was now knee deep in water. And I was like, I have no idea what direction to go. And I thought for sure I was about to spend the night standing up, leaning against a tree because I couldn't remember how to get out. You know what I mean? Like when I get out there, trust me, I go out a lot by myself, but I'm not going to lie to anybody. There's always that anxiety in me because I don't know what's going to happen. I could get bit by a rattlesnake. I can get attacked by a hog. Anything can happen while I'm out there.
I personally don't think you should do that, Richard.
Well, it's only because I have to. Finding somebody else that wants to do this is very difficult.
Alex will go with you every weekend.
No.
But I do.
You run towards danger. I run away from danger.
There's some other research groups here in Florida that occasionally we'll get together and do something together. Like I said, on occasion, Jimmy or Bobby will make the drive and we'll get together and do something. But like I said, most of the time, if I'm going to do this, if I'm going to do the research and I'm going to get out there and better my odds, I got to get out there. I say it all the time. I tell people all the time, they'll email me or they'll hit me up on one way or another and they'll say, hey, do you ever take anybody out with you? Yeah, anytime you want. Yeah, sure. I don't care. If you live in South Florida and you got some free time, I'll take you out. I'm not guaranteeing you anything. You know what I mean? But we'll have a good time. We'll be out in the woods and we'll have fun and we'll, learn something. But I do that because I now have somebody in case something happens. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's just lonely. You're out there and like, man, I really wish I had somebody to talk to right now.
That's I don't recommend anybody does what Richard does. Nope.
It's tough. It's tough, but I play it safe. Like when I go camping this time, like I said, it's the 16th of next month. I will hike during the day and do stuff, but at nighttime, I'm probably going to stay in the radius of my camp. I'll walk the tree line. I'll walk a little bit in the woods here, a little bit in the woods there, do some night vision, do some thermal, stuff like that. But I'm not tromping off in the woods at night.
Well, yeah, but don't you agree? They come to you. I mean,
I do. Yeah. Like I said, there's at least 3 accounts that I talked to tonight that I believe they came in, they came closer. They were interested. They wanted to check things out. One time it was just me by myself. There was nobody else out there and it was freezing cold. Something came in and rubbed my tent. I don't know. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I got to put myself out there. But I got to do it safely. I agree, Doug. I got to do it safely. But
do you ever leave any food out on purpose? Peanut butter or some treat?
Nope.
None of that?
Nope.
Okay.
Never done the old peanut butter trick?
I tell myself I wouldn't do that for any other animal and create that habit. I don't want to do it to Sasquatch, and I really don't want to know him that well.
But do you think there's any truth to the fact they're coming near your camp looking because they're smelling or looking for some food to steal out of your cooler?
I've learned 2 things about Sasquatch, Doug, and everybody understand this. This comes from doing this for a while. I've learned 2 things. Absolutes. These are absolutes. He's a thief and he's selfish because all I want is 10 seconds of video and he won't give it to me. And he's out there all day. He ain't got nothing better to do, but he won't give me 10 seconds. So I know he's a thief because he tried to take my cooler and he's selfish. So those are my absolutes. That's where I stand with Sasquatch. But I get out there.
That's amazing. Okay, everybody. Well, we're gonna call it quits. I've got a pizza waiting for me, a hot pizza on the counter here. I'm gonna go. I'm starving. I haven't eaten all day. But thank you, everybody. Thank you, Richard. It's good, great meeting you.
Pleasure.
I think our audience gained a lot of insight into what you do and probably gave them some good ideas. You also gave them some bad ideas.
Well, let me say 2 things, Doug. First of all, prayers to everybody that's got to deal with the hurricane that we're going to have in the next 48
yes.
It looks like this is going to be a Cat 4. That's pretty big news. So Cat 4 and 5 is not to mess around with. I'll stay home on a 1, 2, or 3, but 4s and 5s are rough. And the second thing is, Doug, I got to tell you, Alex is a great kid. He is awesome. We talked today. We shot the breeze. We've chit chatted back and forth on the on the phone, and he's a great guy, man. That's a good kid. And
Alex is one of a kind.
You're too kind.
And,
You're gonna make me blush.
And he gets my humor because I shot off some sarcastic stuff.
Yes, you did.
You know what I love about Alex? Every time I talk to him, he never says goodbye without saying, "I love you, Dad." So that's
he's a good kid, man. He's a good kid.
I'm happy.
You know? I want to at least let you know that you should be.
Well, thank you.
Proud.
I am very proud of
everybody
Alex.
in the chat room will agree. He's a good guy. And you're a great guy.
Sometimes I give him a little crap, but that's okay. He likes it. He doesn't mind.
If you ever get a chance, guys, every year we have the Great Florida Bigfoot Conference. It's huge. It's huge. You know, it's awesome. It's indoors. It's massive. Try to get involved in that. Come down, do your show from there, whatever you want to do. Try to get involved. I think you guys would like that conference.
What time of year is that, Richard?
This year, they changed it because one year it was in April, then this year it was in June. So you just gotta, I think by November, it's on GatherUp.com. So if you keep track of GatherUp.com, they'll announce, because they also do the Alaska cruise and the Gatlinburg conference. It's all the same group. So they do this one in Florida. It's huge. We're talking 2,000 maybe spectators, great people. You know, last year I got to meet Renee from Finding Bigfoot. What a wonderful person. She is a sweetheart. She really is a nice person. I've met, you know, Dr. Meldrum, Ron Moorhead, David Pilates, different people. They come to this. It's great. You guys would do great there. You know, should look into it.
All right, that sounds good. Well, stay safe down there, and I hope everybody stays safe from this hurricane. And everybody, please remember that failure is the condiment that gives success all of its flavor. Good night, guys. Good night, Alex.
Check me out on BFFG Bigfoot Research.
All right.
Do it, guys.
Thanks.
I call you up in the middle of the night, been bothered by dreams, ain't feeling alright. You give me comfort, say just give it some time. By the end of our talk, I'm feeling just fine. You and I will always know where we belong. This ain't no ordinary love we got going on. I'll pick you up in the 59 Ford. We head on down the road until we get bored. Just you and me and the sun and the wind. If the rain should start falling, we'll head on home again. Everybody else can see where we belong. Oh, ain't no ordinary love we got going on. At the end of the world, together forever is one, and I'll wait if ever you should be in